Hi, it's Carlin. Today I wanted to talk about the top 20 common mistakes I see agents make. We're going to break it down into a couple parts. This is part number one. We're going to start with the listing agreement. So we've got 5 common mistakes I see agents make on listing agreements. First of all, you're not filling it out completely. Making sure that the date, a start and end date, a sales price, the total commissions due, those are the big tickets that need to be in there. I see agents commonly have their clients sign it and they haven't put in a price because they're waiting to determine a price, but it's not an effective agreement without that in there. The next one I'll see commonly made is failing to deliver a signed copy of the agreement to the seller. So you may go on your listing appointment, you bring one copy, everybody signs it, the agent then leaves with that copy, that seller's not getting a copy. Either bring 2 copies with you and leave one with them that you've signed, or email them. You legally need to deliver that copy of the executed agreement within 24 hours of them signing it. The sooner the better. So I tell agents, go right back to the office, scan and email it to them so they have a copy for their records. The next common mistake I see on listing agreements is that their broker's compensation is not filled out correctly. Paragraph 5 on either listing agreement you're using, whether it's the Texas one or ABOR's, you may have a different one with a different board, but these two, both paragraph 5, are spelling out the commission that's being paid from the seller to the listing agent. In a subparagraph or in another paragraph, either on that page or on the next page, it's going to then say of that total commission that you're getting paid by the seller, you are then paying a portion of that to the buyer's agent. I'm not here to debate the amounts. Let's just use an example. Let's say paragraph 5 says you're collecting 6% from the seller. Of that 6, you're spelling out in the next paragraph or on the next page that you're going to pay 3% to the other agent. You're going to say you're paying 3% to your actress participant or your MLS participant, and then maybe you're doing 2% to a non-actress participant. Why would you want to do less? Because that may require more work on your end. So it protects you and allows you to make a little bit more money if that's the case. If they don't participate in your MLS, they may not have lockbox access. They're going to want MLS. They're going to want comps from you. So you're going to have to do more work. So protect yourself and make sure that's spelled out correctly on there. The next common mistake on listing agreements I see is including a subagent commission. I know in my brokerage, we don't have subagency. Most brokerages do not have subagency. A lot of agents will put 2% or 1% for subagent. Check with your broker. You probably aren't doing subagency, so it should be 0. Not reducing the 5th common mistake is not reducing that commission for non-actress participants or non-MLS participants. Again, protect yourself. I talked about it earlier. If you're charging your seller, let's say 5% total, 2.5 and 2.5. And again, I'm not here to debate commissions. You do you. But let's say you're doing 2.5 and 2.5. Well, instead of offering 2.5 to non-MLS participants, make it 2%. Give yourself that extra half. You never know when that's going to happen. If it does happen, an agent from outside your MLS approaches you about showing their home, make sure you disclose on that first conversation that you do only offer, 2% or 2.5%, the lesser commission. They're going to assume it's 3. You want them to know on first conversation it's less. Let's move on. Moving on from listing agreements. What do we have next? While listing a property, agents commonly fail to communicate weekly to their sellers about activity, feedback, and market conditions. It's really important that we're touching base with our sellers regularly, even if there aren't showings. I highly recommend you put your sellers on an MLS search that shows them active pendings and solds and keeps them up to date. Have it sent summary-wise once a week to them. Have them receive results on Monday, and you talk to them every Tuesday about what's going on. That way, if nothing else, if you haven't had any showings, you can at least talk about what's going on in the market. And maybe that message is there's nothing going on in the market. You can see from MLS nothing else went pending. They're all sitting, whatever the case may be. But that report will help keep them abreast of what's going on, and it's not just coming from you. But again, the key is consistent, predictable communication with the seller. Another common mistake I see is agents failing to watch the market if they are sitting. We're in a hot market right now, but that's going to change. We're going to see things sway the other way at some point, and when it does, you need to be making sure you're watching those solds to see what's going on, especially if there's new home construction going on in the neighborhood. If your buyers are looking at new homes and looking at resales, those new home prices can drop in the blink of an eye. They can add incentives. They can, you know, throw in concessions and appliances and things, and you need to stay on top of what they're doing, because if they start dropping their prices, that really affects the resale market greatly. So it's important as your homes are sitting, you're studying and you're on top of what's going on. I usually recommend you study the market of all of your listings at least every 2 or 3 weeks, if not once a month. Don't wait any longer than a month. And then be communicating with your seller, advising on what to do. Remember, it's not your fault if the market conditions are changing. It is your fault if you do not communicate that those changes are happening. All right, moving on. Contract mistakes. All right, I'm going to do this in part 2. We'll get into contract mistakes. Talk to you soon.